Hello! Welcome to my tiny, messy, ridiculous apartment. This is where I live all the time. uh, Sitting on the end of my bed and engaging in various crafty endeavors. So this video is probably not going to be super interesting, but it is kind of functioning as an intro to me and what I'm doing, I guess. Uh, um, and also kind of a test of my video editing capabilities since I've never done that before. My name is Raven Gemini. I am an interdisciplinary artist. That seems like a weird thing to say. I've never said that before out loud, but I am. I have studied a bunch of different art forms. I have a degree in theater. I have part of a degree in fashion design. I was a burlesque performer for 10 years, and I guess I still am. I'm a photographer. All of these things will kind of play in to later when I'm, trying to do. So, and I live here in this tiny apartment in Chicago, and I've lived in Chicago for about 12 years. And it's funny because I'm kind of, the way that I feel about myself is I'm really sort of a person who's a bunch of really diametrically opposed traits lumped together in one human. I wanted to be a show pony when I grew up because they were fancy and they got to wear feathers on their heads. But I also was the person who read Ranger Rick magazines until they fell apart and rescued the toads out of my mother's garden and read the Audubon Guide to North American Birds for funsies. I feel like I've spent the last 10 years of my life sort of feeding the show pony part of my soul. And that's all great and well and good. But I really miss the outdoors. I really miss nature. I really miss taking pictures. I mean, I joke that I have all of this like ridiculous photo equipment, and then I only take pictures once a year when I go up to my family's cottage in northern Michigan. So yeah, so there's kind of a lot of stuff going on in my house and in my life and in my, everything. And 2020, am I right? 2020 kind of ruined things for everybody. But they really kind of ruined things for me because I was chugging along as being a burlesque performer, as being a professional naked person. and then, we couldn't have live performances anymore. And a lot of other things happened. And long story short, because, the troupe that I worked for was a business, and a lot of small businesses are not a thing anymore, and no longer have a troupe that I perform with or, a home. So now I'm just sort of an independent person. And I'm really kind of jaded about that. I'm like, well, if I'm going to be an independent person, I might as well work on projects that I really like. Not to say that I don't like burlesque. I love burlesque. It's been a really great art form. It's been a really great place to live and exist in for 10 years. But I'm looking to, do other things and feed other parts of my soul. So in addition to North American birds, which was definitely one of my childhood special interests, my other sort of really nerdy, ridiculous hobby is Great Lakes maritime history. What? Great Lakes maritime history. I really love lighthouses. And I have this goal that is kind of, I don't know, like some weird pipe dream, that I want to see all of the lighthouses on the Great Lakes. All of them. even the ones that are out in the middle of the lake, in the middle of nowhere, that get like caked in ice in the winter, and they're dangerous and delightful. Especially those ones. Those ones are my favorite. There's something about um decay and loneliness. I'm sure there's nothing to dig into there. Um I'm sure that, being isolated and being very lonely is not a thing that is, something that I think about in my life all the time. Anyway, uh, because I'm a customer and a photographer and somebody who has all of these special interests, I was like, hey, why don't I do this project that I have kind of been not thinking about, reflexively shoving aside for, as impossible for a million years. And what if I dress myself as essentially a 1903 Lady Lightkeeper cosplay? Is that a thing? And go around and do photo shoots at all of the lighthouses on the Great Lakes. It's super exciting. It's really daunting. Every time I think about it, my brain gets kind of fuzzy. And I don't want to think about, I mean, I want to think about it because I love it, but I don't want to think about it because it's hard. And I don't know where to start, and I'm obsessed with knowing how to start things and where to go and what order of directions of things to how to make things happen. I really want a roadmap to my life. The problem is I'm really weird. I've always been really weird, and there's no roadmap to living the way that I live. Oops. Did things the hard way, I guess. Anyway, so that's my life, and that's sort of where I'm headed. And so welcome to my adventure. And then just as like a state of reference, as I'm, creating this giant 1903 Lady Lightkeeper costume and all of the other things that I do in my life, all of the other historical costumes, because I'm not just going to do this one project and be done. I'm like a lifetime artist, and I have a bunch of ideas that I want to sort of dig into, but we'll get one thing at a time. One thing at a time. But just so you are aware of what we're working with here, because, I am a starving artist that lives in Chicago. This is my apartment. This is my whole apartment. Ta-da! Look at that. Isn't it neat? It's one big room and a kitchen. And then if you turn in the other direction, you get, well, you can see my bathroom, but from this angle. But through that door is my closet, which is also the hallway to the bathroom. And by virtue of that, the bathroom. That's my whole apartment. There we go. And I live in this apartment with one other human who is my partner, who is not in the house right now, because I refuse to talk in front of a camera in front of other people. And also my cat, who's hiding in the closet someplace because it's cold. So I have, I live in a space that's about 500 square feet in the city of Chicago. And that's the space I gotta work with. And cram in all of my costuming and all of my normal wardrobe and all of my burlesque wardrobe and all of my partner's stuff and all of my vintage cameras and 10,000 books that I never read. That's the dime tour of my apartment. And the dime tour of me, of my life. So welcome to my life. This is a really dumb vlog. I hope that you watch it and don't hate me. And if you're intrigued by said project, said process of making from the skin out a 1903 Lady Lighthouse Keeper uniform and then traveling to all of these lighthouses and on the Great Lakes and taking wonderful photos and some video and maybe some random lighthouse facts on the way. Or if you're really sort of into the Great Lakes region, the history of the Great Lakes region, the nature of the Great Lakes region, I did say I like birds, right? Um, then I think maybe you should hit that subscribe button because that's what we're going to talk about. Yay! Welcome. Bye.